Hey guys, I'm jumping back into insurgency mapping lately with Hammer and making a couple super. Well, I'm actually delving into a little bit of an intense project, but I jumped back into insurgency mapping and I didn't even have to research a single thing. I managed to get back in and set it all up super easy. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, this is as of August 2016. I've heard that they're going to be going to Unreal 4 engine. When this happens, this will not apply to that system. This is still based on the source engine, the Insurgency retail release, not the mod on Steam. So first thing you're obviously going to need is Insurgency. Sorry, I got Battlefield Vietnam installed in the background here. So I've got it installed. Now I'm going to right-click Properties. I'm going to go to... I forgot where it's at. I guess it's in DLC. So DLC tab, and you'll see Insurgency SDK. I have this checked. State installed. I tried looking through the tools and I didn't see Insurgency SDK like there used to be. So I'm not sure if it's not available and it's just listing that I already have it. So I'll just move that to the screen for now. So as long as in the properties, you should have Insurgency SDK checked and installed. Next thing you're going to want to do is go to local files, hit browse local files. And that's going to bring you here to the Insurgency 2 directory. So now what you're going to want to do is go ahead and go into bin and look for hammer.exe. Go ahead and open it up. So this is the actual level editor here. I'm going to show you guys just how to do a super basic setup, how to get in game, have both teams spawnable, and do a room with a light, and that's it. So did I have two hammers open? I guess I did. Okay, so go ahead and hit File, New. You're going to see this here. If you hover over here in the top left of each pane, you're going to see that's a top view, side view, front view, camera view. So first thing we're going to do is on the left side here, the Entity tool. Go ahead and click it. On the right side here, Info Player Start. I'm going to put that right in the middle. I have grid snapping on right now. The two blue lines you see here, these indicate the center of each view. Very center of the map, 0, 0 on the map. So I'm just go ahead and put that green cursor there and then hit the Enter key. Now, let's see if this works here. Where is... Okay. Now, up here in the camera view, if you click on this, left click on this view and hit Z, it's just like looking around. It's just like WASD, just like you're walking around in the game. So you hit Z again, and then you got your cursor back. And then I believe spacebar in your other views allows you to pan around. To hold space and left click drag around. That allows you to look through those views like that. Okay, next thing we're going to do is from the top view, I'm going to put the cursor there. I'm going to type INS underscore, I think it's spawn point. Yeah. So select that and then hit enter. Since we already have the cursor put here, enter. Oh, I just have to click on that view and then hit enter. Okay, now you notice we have that little red block. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control C and then Control V. And it made a copy of it, so I got two now. Oh, and actually put it way down there. Now come up in this view, move it up here. Okay, so now I've got two. Now I'm going to control click the other one, so now I have both selected. Control click, both select. I think shift drag works too. Okay, so if you shift drag, it makes a copy. Okay, so now if you want to multi-select things with the box selection, you can actually just drag over, hit enter, and it'll select anything in that region. If that makes any sense. A little confusing. So I'm going to select both of those first two again. Now I'm going to hit Alt-Enter. This is going to bring up the object properties. As you see, object properties, multiple objects selected. Now, these are the spawn points. So in these two spawn points, I'm going to designate one team, security. So that's already security. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select these two, Control-click each one, or click one to begin a new selection, Control-click to select the second one. Alt-Enter again is going to bring up the same screen, object properties, multiple objects. Now I'm going to change this team to Insurgents. So now we have two spawn points for each team, and this player start, I'm not 1,000% sure it's required for Insurgency, but most games will throw an error if you don't have that. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to put walls around this, because right now you're basically going to fall into space. So from the side view, X and Z, zoom out, probably about there. I'm going to come over here to the left side. You're going to see the block tool. Go ahead and click it and drag probably 3 to 4 blocks around your all of your entities we just created. Now you'll see it looks good from the side, but from the top it doesn't. It looks really narrow. You can just go ahead and drag that up like so. Give it about like that. About like that. Okay, now if you pan around in the camera view, remember Z allows you to go into free mode. So that looks about right. So this is going to be the size of the room. You can actually probably bring the floor up one. Now on the right side here, you're going to see texture group, current texture. So go ahead and hit browse. This will come up here. I'm just going to search for brick. I can spell, yes, brick. I'm going to use a very generic brick texture here. Now, this is your active texture here. So once we actually create this block using the block tool, it's going to apply that texture to it. Now you see we have a block. Now, you go inside the block, as you can see, the block is not hollow. The block is solid, so we are inside the block, which is why we cannot no longer see the brick texture. As soon as you get out of it, we see it. So now, with the block still selected, you're going to go to Tools, Make Hollow. 32. This default grid size you're seeing right here is 64, I believe. And you can actually change the grid size with these two little buttons up here. But I'm just going to leave it there. But I know each of these blocks are 64, so I'm going to change this to 64. Now what that's going to do is it's going to contract this box we just made inward. There you go. And now you see how it made that extra little borders around it? So it actually hollowed out this block. So if you notice, I'm inside the walls now. There you go. So now you have a hollow room. Now, next step. If I were to get in game everything, there would be no lighting. It would just be like everything was on full bright. There would be no active lighting. Next thing I'm going to show you how to do is add a light. So on the left side here, click your entity tool again. Now over here, you're just going to type light, search for light, click light. And then what I'm going to do is using light. Messed up. Enter. Ugh. Think if I hit, okay. I just hovered over my view over here and hit Z. Now I'm going to click right on the ceiling of this. Notice it made a light. This can be placed the same way you place the spawn points over here. You can still do it in the 3D view, and you can, or the 2D views, and you can still move it in the 2D views. See how the light's on the ceiling? So once again, actually, I believe this left cube up here, if you untoggle grid. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So that's visual. I think it's, what is it? There's a snapping preference here somewhere. All right, it's been a while since I've done this. I feel like there's a snapping button here somewhere. Feel really dumb. I know there's a shortcut key for it too. There it is. So if you go to Map, Snap to Grid, Shift W, unsnaps from grid. Now I can finally place it instead of being locked to the grid. And you can do that same thing with these guys now. They're not locked to the grid. Finally place them. It's always a good thing to use this as a reference here as to how tall your player spawns are actually going to be. You don't want to put your player spawns in the ground because you'll have errors when you go to spawn there. You'll be stuck in the ground or you'll fall through the map, something like that. So select the light again, hit Alt-Enter. It's going to go to the properties. Brightness is going to be the main value you're going to want to pay attention to. So this is going to be color. You're going to have red, green, blue. You pick the color, something like this. Those values will change. So 255 is maximum value for red, green, and blue in this system. 200 is going to be the brightness. So that fourth number is going to be the brightness. So I'm going to go ahead and do 600. Just crank that light up a little bit. You won't actually see any of that light brightness applied in here. The way this particular map editor works, when this is a very, very rough drawing, what you're seeing now. It won't actually compile all the lighting until you go to put it in game. So now that we got that, I'm going to save it. I'm going to do this as tutorial. Save it. It'll lag a little bit. Once your cursor shows back up, you should be good to go. Still loading, still loading. There it goes. Now, right here, you're going to see Run Map or F9. I think if you go to File, Run Map works too. All right, I'm going to leave Run BSP on normal. Viz is on fast. This is a good idea when you're testing to put all this on as fast as it goes. Because as your map gets more complicated, the visual and the lighting, or I think, actually, I'm not sure. This is, yeah, RAD should be lighting. I can't remember what it stands for. Put that on fast, and same with Viz. Just for testing purposes, when you actually go to do your final release, you're going to want to do no and no. If you were to set lighting to no, everything would be on full bright, and it wouldn't even see that light we just put on the ceiling. So I can actually leave that on normal just because this map is so small and simple. There are options like don't run game after compiling, so it'll come up with the command prompt and it'll stop. And then it'll, I believe, it goes away, but if you leave wait for key press, the box will stay up and show you any errors. I'm just going to leave them both unchecked. Hit OK. That box is up. See, that's how fast that actually compiled. When your map gets more complex, it gets a lot worse. So here we are. As soon as you hit play, it's going to launch the game for you. It's going to load you right into the map. I'm just going to pick, let's see, I'm Insurgent Specialist. Pick something I haven't used in a while. There we go. All right. So as you can see, we have our room with the light. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Super simple map. So hope that helped you guys out with a few, because I know the old Insurgency styles and the old Hammer editor, it used to be super confusing, but they've actually made this super simple. Most Steam SDK stuff that's involved with the Source Engine is so foobar right out of the box. You have to go to tools, you have to install it separately. It's not configured, you have to go manually configure it. It takes like an hour of Googling, frustration, you go and you kill somebody, something like that. So I hope this helps you guys out. And let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll try and get to the comments. And I'll see you guys later.